Viva España has been the theme of this tournament so far. The Spanish teams have put on a strong showing, but they haven't yet made their way into the Rivals Series. Now they're all fighting to stay alive in the lower bracket. Stacks alongside Corelli now as we get into lower bracket action. And this matchup here, it's an 8 versus 10 matchup. So there are teams that were expected to make a run at the Rival Series. Only one of them can move forward.
I'm proud of you. You know more Spanish than Axel Toss at this point with those two words. But yeah, this is exciting. Not only do you have the regional matchup, you have history between these two teams in recent play-ins and tournaments. And of course, the seeding is very close for these guys. So for me, it's a tough one to call because I think the teams are very, very close. I think Intellectuals, or excuse me, on both sides, there's one player to watch. On Intellectuals, it's EXO, and for Blitzers, it's Stake. Those are the two guys I'd be looking at when I'm watching this game.
Yeah, these are more players. We mentioned the Rocket Liga Pro that occurs over in Spain. These are players on the Blitzers side who have plenty of experience in that league as well. They have been around the block, so to speak, as we get into game number 1. 5 minutes on the clock to see who's going to stay alive in the lower bracket. It's Nachito to start things off for the Blitzers. And Z9 trying to stop that attack from the Intellectuals. Stake not going to have a look here, but Nachito does. Z9 whip on the corner. Little feather pass here that's blocked away by Breezy. And the attack for the Blitzers should just about subside if EXO can get this away, and he does. Nachito now to the corner. He's not able to clear the zone. It'll be the Intellectuals trying to set up shop now on the Blitzers side of the field. They need to get back there first. That pass across a little too strong for Stake. And it goes back the other way for Mark by 8 to clear away.
And so far here in the beginning, Blitzers starting off pretty well here with a couple of offensive chances. And just as soon as I say it, Blitzers put the first goal on the board.
Yeah, this is Nachito getting up there way early after a great feed by Mark. Nobody else up to even challenge this, and before they know it, the Intellectuals find themselves trailing after that goal by the Blitzers.
And the point I was going to make there in the beginning is Blitzers took a very offensive stance. They actually had all 3 players in the box at one point for Intellectuals, so it was a quick start, really. Stacks, it was a blitz right off the bat for them.
Stake just able to pop that one out of range of Z9. And now another attempt from Breezy to center, but nobody there in front. So he would have been trying to just bulldoze his way through, waiting for the team plays to really come out for the Intellectuals as Z9 avoids a demo, got the shot off, but Stake is there for the save. Then back the other way, it's an open net, a lucky touch at midfield, and the lead is 2.
And it's a huge defensive breakdown here for Intellectuals. Communication not on point here, rotations not coming through. It's an open net, and it just rolls in there for Blitzers. Nobody home for Intellectuals.
There are plenty of teams, by the way, that are alive down in this part of the bracket, including another team that's played a lot in the Spanish leagues, an E-Monkeys club, and Chacaron's Bricks. After getting dropped down very early on to the lower bracket, they are still fighting as well as Breezy will send this one away. He has found a teammate. EXO is not going to get onto this, though, as Stake is there for the block. Now Nachito looking to center one here. Might have been in between shooting and passing, would have been a very tough angle. And now Mark just kind of bumping Breezy away from the ball, and that slows down the Intellectuals' counterattack.
And now you got to think about how do Intellectuals answer back here, and letting balls go off your crossbar is not it. It's Mark. He's got the 3rd goal. Everyone in Blitzers getting involved. 3-0 for Blitzers.
It really has been a blitz, as you mentioned. They really have the Intellectuals on the ropes in game number 1. Not really sure Intellectuals know what hit them here. Still more than half the game to go. Plenty of time to turn things around. Z9 has EXO waiting on the near side. Found him with a pass, but the shot is just off the mark.
And Stacks, it's important to point out here, Intellectuals have 4 shots. Blitzers, on the other hand, have 4 saves. So a double touch coming out from Stake, and now 4-0 for Blitzers. They're starting to run away from it.
This is as good a start as you could ask for the Blitzers. Again, their tournament lives are on the line here, trying to play their way deeper into the lower bracket. They've got Existence waiting at the end of the line for them, patiently waiting for another shot at a play-in matchup. how great would it be for all of these players if it's this Blitzers team up against Existence? That one's on the goal line, but this time EXO clears it away.
It's important to reiterate, this is not a qualification match. This is just one in the lower bracket, so they still got a lot more to go if they come out alive on this one for either side of these teams.
Nachito trying to force one through Z9. He could not. And now Z back at the net. Trying to get this downfield, trying to get any kind of attack at all for the Intellectuals. Trying to bully his way through, and he has, but nobody there to drop that down in front. EXO with a full tank of boost. He'll try again. Intellectuals just looking for their first real opportunity here, but Z9 coming up empty in the air. And again, an empty attack for the Intellectuals. Stake will just pop this one up to Mark as the Blitzers will get just a brief reprieve from the Intellectuals, at least attempting to attack. Z9 having a little trouble in the corner. What an attack so far by the Blitzers. 4 shots, 4 goals. And just really, when you look at possession in this game, it really does feel like it's about 80-20 in favor of the Blitzers.
And while Blitzers' offense has been superb, the defense has also been excellent. 5 saves for Blitzers now. They're getting themselves in between the ball and the net, making sure that nothing shot by Intellectuals is going in.
Yeah, and even more importantly for them, they're getting easy saves too. It's not like they're having to really work. They're not really having to sweat a whole lot on the defensive end. Waiting to see if the Intellectuals can just get a blistering shot on. Right now, they've got to get another clear downfield as Breezy will control on the corner. We're in the final minute of game number 1. It's kind of crept up on you a little bit, the way that the Blitzers have controlled this game. EXO is not going to have that ball in front. Another attempt from Z9. That will fall by the wayside. And Mark should run on to this. No, it's Stake. And he just about got that through, if not for the efforts of Z9. It's looking like a shutout for the Spaniards of the Blitzers as Nachito makes that save on the goal line. That's about as stressful as it has been for the Blitzers the entire game. They have really controlled game number 1, and if this is a sign of things to come, it could be a very quick series for the Blitzers.
And it's the man I've been talking about in the beginning of this series, Stake, with 3 goals to his name here, 5 goals for the team Blitzers, looking strong in game number 1.
Well, after that, it is hard to imagine that the Intellectuals could make a series out of this, but as we've seen so often, you have a blowout in game 1, those adjustments are made, and a team does come back, and they really fight in the later games, and we'll see if the Intellectuals can figure something out to slow down the Blitzers. Forget about stopping them, just slow them down first.
Yeah, you got game 1 out of the way, and for Intellectuals, it was not a good game 1. You cannot give up 5 goals. Yeah, a lot of saves came out here for Blitzers, 6 for them on the scoreboard, but Intellectuals, like you said, in the middle of the game there were not good chances for them, so they need to be more creative moving down the field, and they got to stop Blitzers' attack. It's just so much. It's constant pressure, and they're great shots from Blitzers, too. You got to shut that down if you're Intellectuals.
Well, it was a heavy barrage of shots, but it doesn't feel like it was that many more when you look at the scoreboard, because again, the shots were relatively equal, but it's high quality opportunities. That's where the Blitzers capitalized, and this Spaniard team trying to play their way again along the lower bracket. They're still another 2 matches away from even getting a play-in opportunity if they win this match, but this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and for Blitzers, or excuse me, for Intellectuals, they kind of came out and got hit in the chin real quick. Blitzers came out, and like we said, I hate to use the pun over and over again, but they did have an all-out blitz on offense in the beginning. They were pushed up so far, took a very aggressive stance, and for Blitzers, that's a great way to start off a game. It's a little risky if Intellectuals get their things together and start playing properly.
Well, it's game number 2. It is adjustment time for the Intellectuals. Can Z9, Breezy, and EXO solve the puzzle that is the Blitzers? Breezy needs another touch, does not have it, and EXO cannot get this any closer to the net. And here come the Blitzers yet again. A rapid start to game 1, and they're going to get an own goal here from, it looked like, Breezy.
It's an own goal for Intellectuals here, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be Breezy. Steak just putting it off the back wall. No, it's Z9.
Yep.
Thought Breezy was going to go up for that one. Z9 accidentally getting a piece of that one. Beautiful double touch by him, though. Got to give him credit, but Steak getting the first goal. 1-0 now to Blitzers.
And really, the Blitzers, they had no problem scoring on their own. You can't give them a gift, especially this early. Got to be really bad for the psyche of the Intellectuals. This will go off the back wall, almost dunked by Steak, but Ixo is there. Double commit that time, though, from the Blitzers, and that should give the Intellectuals a window to clear this out. But Breezy doesn't have a lot of boost, so Ixo has to clear it off the pinch. And now Steak, he's going to climb the ladder. Backboard play, is it for himself? No, it's a double touch pass, and Mark's shot just high and wide.
Wow, what a dangerous play there from Blitzers. Not able to put that one in, but Intellectuals are just on their back heels the entire time here in the beginning. Only Ixo's really touched the ball here. He's the only one on his team with points, and Intellectuals falling behind here early.
Nachito right at Breezy, and that's a good win for Breezy as the Intellectuals try to get a good opportunity on offense. Z9. Big clear down the middle, but it's right at Steak. Just what we see so often, the difference between the top teams and the teams that are on that tier below them, using their teammates in the defensive zone. We haven't seen it enough, I don't think, from the Intellectuals.
We really haven't seen it from both regions here in the rival series. Normally, Europe's much better at using their teammates, whether it's on offense or defense, but it's such a strong thing to do, to be able to use your teammates on defense to get out of a hairy situation.
Oh, blocked away at point-blank range by Mark. Breezy with maybe the Intellectuals' best opportunity so far in Game 2. Mark again at the back, but he's going to give way. It's Z9 up the ladder, and finally the Intellectuals are on the board. They've tied it.
And at least at this point now, they're not down by 5 goals. Intellectuals responding back to tie up the game, and they're poised to at least try and take a lead here with 3 minutes left in the game. Much better from Intellectuals now to respond and get themselves into a game before it starts to get away from them.
At the 3:05 mark in Game 2, Steak able to thread the needle between Z9 and Breezy. That shot's going to be blocked away, though, by Z9. And now Nachito and Mark, they're in the same place at the same time. That's trouble. Here goes Z9, and he's taken out by Mark. And that's how the Intellectuals' attack ends. Clever stuff there by Steak. He's taken out Ixo. That demo really opening things up for the Blitzers. And it's Z9 doing all he can to try and stop the attack. Nachito on his way back, and it's Breezy with a well-placed strike.
And it's Breezy actually cutting off a pass here from Steak. He was trying to find Mark in the midfield, but Breezy snuffs it out, able to put that one on target. Nobody back from Blitzers. And Stacks, that's what I was talking about before this game, is when you take such an aggressive stance and you push yourself so far up the field, if your pass get cut out, you can have a free shot on net for your opposition.
Z9 working his way down the wing. As the Intellectuals, they figured something out. Maybe they have indeed solved the puzzle as Ixo retreats. It'll have to be Z9 to take over, and he gets bumped out of the way for a moment, so Mark has a clean shot, and then he takes out Breezy on the other side. This is just high and wide, and that goes harmlessly towards the corner, so it was a little dangerous there again from the Intellectuals, but now the Blitzers are back on the attack. Watch the double touch as Mark almost got there. Now Steak, he's got Nachito over there. He does not have Mark, as Ixo's taken him out of the play, and back downfield it goes. Now the Intellectuals, they feel much more comfortable in this game as opposed to the last.
Yeah, it's a lot more back and forth in this game. In game number 1, we saw Blitzers really just living inside of Intellectuals' half. In this game, Intellectuals are getting out of their half and even forcing some tough saves onto Blitzers.
Oh, Mark really trying to flex his muscles there, but not able to get the flick he was looking for, but Nachito will blast one through, and we're tied again.
And all that space in front of the orange net, I'm surprised this was given to him. Breezy just couldn't challenge this ball. Nachito has an easy open shot on net, hits it near post. Last defender can't get there, we're all tied up.
1:24 remains, separating us from overtime in game number 2, but what a turnaround from the Intellectuals. Nachito, tough angle, and Mark was lurking. Had Breezy not gotten that clear, could have been 3-2 to the Blitzers. Z9 now, he'll look for a double tap, but Mark is there. Good proactive defense along that backboard, And now the Intellectuals will take over again. It does seem, though, like the Blitzers now, they're starting to respect the Intellectuals a little bit more. They're not pressing forward nearly as much. Final minute of regulation. Boost steal there by Nachito. He stole them both, but Ixo has a big power clear, and Mark has to just dump this off to the corner. Z9 with a drive, and that's going to be right at Nachito. Blitzers looking to break out, but it's Breezy right there, ensuring that Stake can't get a center ball. Nachito, double touch to go across, and I don't think anybody was expecting it. Certainly nobody crashing for the Blitzers.
Intellectuals would love to get out of this game without going to an overtime. They don't want to go to a golden goal here. They want to secure game 2 and tie the series up, but Blitzers on the attack.
Everybody's up, and it's Breezy who makes the stop, but they can't get out on the counterattack just yet. Breezy lurking at midfield. It'll be Ixo. He's beaten out by Nachito, as Ixo just waited a little too long, and we go to OT.
It is overtime between Blitzers and Intellectuals. Game number 2 on the line here. Intellectuals now down by 1-0. Will they be able to pull it out here?
Mark's shot will be blocked at point blank all the way over to the side. And it's Stake who has to get up there ahead of Breezy, who gets the dunk. And Nachito left to send it away. Another ball centered, this time for Breezy. Z9 is lurking, and it's Nachito who goes up through a lot of traffic, able to thread the needle and get this cleared away. Stake now, good read off the side, and now pressure mounts again from the Blitzers. Nachito will be left to deal with this. He did not. Z9 to drop one down. Breezy's waiting, but he can't come up just yet. Now he'll make his move as his teammates start to go back and at least keep this attack alive for the Intellectuals. It is Mark by 8. As again, the tension builds here in game 2. Golden goal could tie this series. That shot's going to be high. Rebound is wide. They've hit everything except the net. Something's got to give eventually. Maybe it's here. Nachito gives way to Stake, who does clear it away.
And you got to think for Intellectuals, that's when you got to put away an open infield pass across the blue net there. Nobody able to stop the shot, and it just wasn't on target. Intellectuals, or excuse me, Blitzers getting away with one there as nobody challenged the ball.
Watch out, Mark is trying to fly in, but he's not anywhere near where he needed to be. Now Z9 towards Mark. That backflip, I think he was called off by Stake. Loose ball in front. Z9 does just enough to stop Mark from dunking that home. Watch out for Nachito coming in. That goes off to the corner, but another chance. This time it's Stake. Third time the charm, and the Blitzers have another win.
And Blitzers steal away game number 2 here in overtime. Almost 2 minutes here. Mark Baye, a great pass out here to Stake, and once again leading his team to another victory. 2 goals to his name. It's a 3-2 win for Blitzers in a 2-0 series.
2-0 for the Blitzers now. 1 win away from moving on along the lower bracket. Again, we can't stress this enough. Not playing for a spot in the rival series just yet. They're playing for a chance just to stay alive in the lower bracket.
And looking at the history between these two teams, Intellectuals have a 6-1 game series against the Blitzers. So when you look at that, you say, hey, Intellectuals, they've done great. They've only lost 1 game to these guys. Now they've lost 2 in a row in a series that's the most important one out of all the ones in the past.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of teams waiting down there with them. Bricks and E-Monkeys at last update, they were still playing each other. Unique Stars are waiting in that part of the bracket. It's a long road back, and of course, Existence waiting for one more shot to play in as well. But a great start, of course, for the Blitzers. Again, a lot of shots, but they also gave up a lot of shots. They gave up quite a few shots in game 1, gave up even more in game 2. Intellectuals just not able to capitalize on key opportunities.
That is exactly it. For Intellectuals, they had their opportunity to win the game. They go to overtime. They played a much better game number 2 here than game number 1. They kept it close. They went to overtime, but they had that one pass across the field where they had a free open shot and they couldn't put it away. And you got to think for Intellectuals, if they had put that away or at least had a better shot on target, this series could be tied up at this point.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities that they're going to wonder what might have been if they're not able to come back in this series. We have seen all sweeps so far on our broadcast here of the European play-ins. Maybe we can see game 4 for the first time. Going to take a lot from the Intellectuals.
Wow.
More of this, perhaps, from Ixo 3 seconds in.
It's Ixo setting the tone here for Intellectuals right off the bat, and that is exactly what you want after a rough first 2 games. It's Intellectuals striking first, Ixo the man to lead the way, and he's got the first goal.
So now let's see how the Blitzers answer. They find themselves trailing. Ixo's shot, not going to be met by anybody on a rebound. Look at Mark going right through, and Ixo back barely to make the save. Can he make another? Oh, yes, he does. And Z9, he got ramped there, not able to get recovered at all. And now Mark thought about taking this. I think he wanted Stake to turn around. He could not, and it goes back the other way. What a defensive stand by the Intellectuals.
It was the solo play by Mark, and Ixo coming in at the last second to save away the shot. Great save there by the Intellectuals and Blitzers. That's a great solo play for Mark, but unable to convert to a goal.
We can confirm, by the way, E-Monkey's club are out. The Bricks, led by Chacaron, they are now playing against Unique Stars. The winner of this match gets the winner of that match along the lower bracket. It's going to be Nachito to center for himself, and he snipes the corner to end the first minute.
And that's a great shot here by Nachito, and you knew he was going to get a great shot here. He had so much time. Look at this. The ball is able to bounce twice if he let it. A free shot to the upper 90. They're all tied up here with Blitzers.
Oh, what a wild first minute. Opportunities abound for both teams, and we're right back where we started. 5-minute game turns into a 4-minute game. And Ixo up the ladder to meet Mark. Now Z9, second touch is on point. Ixo to just leave it for Breezy. He got cold feet at the last moment, and rightly so. Stake was there. Now it's Mark. Up and over 1, up and over 2, but not able to get one in front for a teammate. Just nobody believed there. Nobody was crashing the net again. Stake will give way to Mark as these teams battle again along the lower bracket. It's Ixo. That could kick up and out for him, but not high enough. So Nachito comes in. And look out, Mark coming on. That's blocked by Breezy. Here's the rebound for Stake. Not able to snipe the corner like his teammates. And now it's Z9 back the other way. He'll try to carry this through all on his own. Nachito with the save. Mark with another as well. And this time it's the Blitzers who stand tall on defense.
And these guys are just going back and forth on each other. And right now, 2 last-second saves for both sides of the field for both teams here. So close between these 2 teams, and you're seeing it now here in game number 3.
This is Z9 just throwing the ball away, trying to buy his teammates a little bit of time to pick up even the mini boost pads at this point. Ixo has Z9 down there. He may have to follow this himself, though, and he definitely does now. Stake takes Z9 out of the play. He may still be the next one to touch this ball, though, because everybody just whiffed on it. Now Nachito. Not able to get his pass, and nor could he get the demo on Z9. It's Stake, though. Good block way up the ladder near the ceiling to block this shot away. And that really does feel like that's where the Intellectuals have not necessarily won this game, but they've kept the Intellectuals at bay by going way up towards the top of the arena to stop them.
Well, Intellectuals have done a great job of just stopping most attacks here from the Blitzers. Aside from a couple shots out from Nachito, put away the first goal, Blitzers haven't been able to develop too dangerous opportunities onto Intellectuals.
50-50 at midfield. It's going the way of the Blitzers. Clever touch from Nachito to get a shot almost on target. Now it's Mark. Needs this off the side wall. He landed perfectly, but did not jump in time. Now it's Stake. Very few, quality opportunities after we saw both teams make a lot of saves right along the goal line. Things have really slowed down. I think these teams playing a little more hesitant.
It looks like game 2 in the latter stages of game 2. And we're at the latter stages now, and it might be Mark trying to put one away there as the whole team of Intellectuals on the back line.
And that ball was starting to go across the line, just barely cleared away. Not the first time we've seen Ixo have to clear one off the line. Now it's Z9. Having Breezy at midfield will help. Trying to center there, but nobody able to get up in time as Mark has another big clear. It's that dump and chase strategy from the Blitzers that worked so well in game 1. But it hasn't really worked since then. They've really had to fight for everything.
And Intellectuals finding themselves in a spot like game number 2, all tied up, going towards overtime. Can they rewrite history from game number 2 and maybe pull themselves out with a win?
Well, this pinches all the way downfield, so the Blitzers will have to retreat. They'll have to relinquish control of the orange side of the field for just a moment. Mark at midfield, able to just stall the attack enough so that his teammates can get back, and Breezy, not what he was looking for there. It's a whiff. 9 seconds left. Ball jammed up in the corner. Overtime is looming yet again. This time in game 3. It is a must-win for the Intellectuals. They need to score this next goal.
Yeah, backs against the wall now for Intellectuals. Again, not a qualification match, but you'd be knocked out of the tournament. We are in the lower bracket here. Blitzers 1 game away from moving on.
We've talked about the Intellectuals having plenty of scoring opportunities in previous games. They only have 3 shots on goal here in this must-win 3rd game. Z9 to the ceiling. Can he pinch this along the ground? He cannot, as it goes well wide of the target. Ixo now right at Mark. So that ball will not get to the center. Breezy will try instead. He's run out of boost. That means he has to relinquish control to Nachito. And he can work his way downfield. Does not have a teammate waiting though, so that pass will be cleared away by Ixo. Now it's Stake, winning that challenge over Z9. Breezy gonna take his time. He has plenty of it to work with. Waiting for someone to blink in overtime of game 3. Blitzers score the next goal. They would go into the next round, but they missed that opportunity as the ball goes harmlessly across the face of the goal.
Another fantastic solo play there by Mark, and he's still going, trying to keep the attack on from Blitzers, but such a close opportunity to close out the series.
That may have been a double commit as well. Breezy landed on the ball, got the reset, but Mark right there to stuff Ixo and stop his attempt. Nachito, he'll go all the way through, does not get the demo, so now they go back the other way, or do they? Z9 over 1, over 2, but he'll pay the price for it. They both took each other out. Here's Stake now, as both players have respawned in. Ixo waiting downfield. Nachito has to play that away from him, otherwise it would have been a great opportunity for the Intellectuals. Intellectuals have had to work without a lot of boost. You saw Z9 a moment ago. Now he's got plenty of demos to go around as well. Breezy does not have the double touch, and this will go harmlessly to the corner again.
The defense for Blitzers slowly starting to be broken down now, trying to find a way out here, but Intellectuals showing that they can lock in this Blitzers squad and have a couple opportunities on net. But again, Stacks, like you said earlier in this game, not too many opportunities on net for Intellectuals, except for now.
Yeah, it was a change-up on the shot there from, I believe it was Ixo. It was indeed. Stake was gearing up for a heavy shot, was not able to get a clear, and Z9 there to finish it off on the rebound, and the Intellectuals stay alive, and we'll see game 4.
And we finally do get to see a game 4 today, Stacks. We've had sweeps all across the board, at least for the games on stream, and Intellectuals staying alive against Blitzers in a matchup where we thought they might come through and have a clean sweep themselves with a 6-1 record against this Blitzers squad. But you could see in that last play, Blitzers defense definitely kind of getting stranded on one side or the other of the ball, and weren't able to get in front of it. Intellectuals doing a good job of controlling that corner boost where the play was happening for most of the time. We're able to just break down the defense and finally have a shot that goes onto net.
And the Intellectuals, we mentioned near the end of regulation, they only had 3 shots. They had 5 shots in that overtime, greatly outshooting the Blitzers. Not sure exactly what the number was, but the Blitzers did not have many key opportunities in that overtime. Well done by the Intellectuals to stay alive, but it's still a long road back. They have another must-win coming right up.
Right, now it's a reverse sweep situation. They were down 2-0, now it's 2-1. Intellectuals fighting back, but a reverse sweep in a lower bracket, ones that's not even for a qualification to the rival series, is a tall order to ask. You talk about, you know, in this next game, if they go down by 2 goals early, you talk about mental and endurance going into this game, or even to the mid-game of there. How do you come back from a 2-0 deficit if that were to happen? Tilt might become a factor.
Yeah, and for this Intellectuals team, you can't think about, if you do get the reverse sweep, what's coming up next, because there's a lot coming up next. You got to worry about what's in front of you right now, one game at a time. I do think, though, the pressure starts to kind of shift over towards the Blitzers a little bit, because now you had a closeout opportunity, goes to overtime, You don't close out a team when you had the chance. Now they're starting to come back. They feel like they've got some life.
Yeah, and I think Blitzers kind of got a free win there in the beginning. A 5-0 score line is pretty big there for the Blitzers, and they were just all over the Intellectuals. But then in game number 2, Intellectuals definitely showed that they could play the game a lot better. They were playing more defense. They were stopping things coming from the Blitzers, but ultimately fell in overtime. And now in game number 3, again, Intellectuals, it just took one kind of a play that just kept going and going and going, where Blitzers just couldn't get the ball out, and Intellectuals finally break down the defense to get in. So Intellectuals, they do have momentum going into the next game, but I think Blitzers right now, they have a lot of confidence. They just need one more game. If they have that type of mentality, they can come in and just finish out this series and getting one more win.
To remind you what these teams are playing for, a spot in the Rivals Series eventually as they go along the lower bracket. 4 spots on the line today. We've already put 2 teams through into this season of the Rival Series. It was Savage on the first match of the day, Method just a little while ago in their match with a clean sweep as Cassio really burst onto the scene and really cemented himself as a force to be reckoned with for this Method team.
Yeah, really happy to see Cassio performing when it matters. A lot of people talked about this guy coming into the Rival Series, into the play-ins. A lot of hype about him especially, and he definitely showed why. He played well. Method, while they didn't, I don't think they really kind of blew out anyone here. They definitely played extremely well. They got the win. They got back into Rival Series, so that was a mission accomplished for them.
Yeah, and for, again, Cassio, it's not like he's just some nobody that they picked up. He has come on very strong, and you could see shots like this, just knowing when to pick and choose your spots there, getting a big goal at the start of a game. And Burrito being Rick Ronde, they got to feel fantastic because it's a big weight off of their shoulders.
And now the question for Method, after an abysmal season in the Rival Series last time, way undervalued at the end there. They did not live up to expectations. They come in with a new roster with Cassio in it. So far, so good for them. But now you go into league play and you expect a lot more from this Method team, especially more from last time. We talked about, or a lot of people in Europe talking about, this is a team that's contending for the RLCS at this point.
Yeah, and you remember in North America, there were 2 teams that were in the Rival Series the previous season that had really poor seasons, especially by their standards, that re-qualified this coming season. Method, one of those teams, and Rick Ronde, I think, is, you know, while he wasn't the star, Cassio absolutely was here. Rick Ronde figures to be a big part of what should be a much improved Method team.
Well, and with Method going through, of course, they are the #1 seed here. We take a look at the qualified teams so far. Obviously, Team Secret, Excel, Triple Trouble, and Nordvin were there before. They stayed in from the last Rival Series. Savage and Method join them here today so far. We got 2 more spots coming into the Rival Series.
Yeah, 2 more spots. One of them will be given away in this part of the bracket that, again, the Blitzers and Intellectuals are a part of. But they, again, have a long way to go. They've got this match here once we get back underway, and then they'll either have the Bricks or Unique Stars, and again, Existence, another Spanish team, waiting for them after they had their chance to qualify earlier. They'll get another shot later on this afternoon.
Right, we're just waiting as we remake the server here right now. These 2 teams vying just to stay alive here in the losers bracket. Of course, not a qualification match, but so far so good here for the Blitzers. They're able to go up 2-0 early, and later on, or I guess in game number 3, Intellectuals fight back, and we go to a game 4, the first one of the day. So I'm excited to see where this series takes us. I'm hoping for a game 5 because I don't want sweeps across the board. Unless it's a reverse sweep. Then
right, of course, absolutely. We'll take a reverse sweep. More time for us, more great Rocket League to watch as these series go on. Again, it has to be a reverse sweep for the Intellectuals. They dropped those first couple of games, and you have to wonder, at what point do they go, you know, what do we have to do to beat this Blitzers team? They finally did solve the puzzle. They finally figured something out that worked, but you have to feel like the Blitzers, they're still right there on the edge thinking, hey, one bounce goes our way, and we can get rid of these guys.
Well, and it's not like they don't know how to beat the Blitzers. They've done it before, so they just need to perform and do it here. You wonder, hey, we're on stream. Lots of people watching right now. This is the biggest tournament of our lives. Maybe that's coming into play, but I honestly don't believe that. I don't think that players get that affected at this point. You're 3 games into a series now. You got to go in with the mentality that you can beat this team because you have before, and they need to do it in a reverse sweep now, and I have full confidence in Intellectuals doing it if they show up and play.
And this is just one of the many storylines that are building along this lower bracket. We keep mentioning the Bricks, and you might wonder, who are the Bricks? Why do we care about the Bricks? Well, they were the number 7 seed. We already saw number 6, WLF, go out very early on. The Bricks went down to the lower bracket in their second round match. That, of course, being Chacaron's team. And you think about everything he's had to go through to get to even where he is right now, where the winner of his match going on right now plays the winner of this match. He had 2 teammates go to Triple Trouble and PSG, found 2 new teammates right before the deadline.
Right.
They dropped down to the lower bracket very early on. They've had to fight and scratch and claw every step of the way to get ever so close to making Chacaron's way back into the Rival Series. He's also a 2-time Rival Series contender. Wouldn't it be great if he could continue his run and maybe get a shot, of course, at the Intellectuals or Blitzers, whoever wins here?
And he would love to make it to the Rival Series so that he has a shot on Method, because that was his previous team, and I know he's out for vengeance, and he's got a squad here that did go down early, but they came in with a pretty good seeding, and they have to fight through the lower bracket. Just like the Blitzers and Intellectuals stack, they have to fight through the lower bracket again, just waiting for the server to get going here. And these guys, 2-1 right now in the series. Blitzers came out strong, a 2-0 in the beginning. Intellectuals fighting back. It's their time now. Intellectuals, everything's on the line. They got nothing to lose at this point, I guess, except for our Rival Series qualification spot. But you know what I mean by the phrase here. And so Intellectuals, a lot on the line for them, and they do need to fight back, because Blitzers look hot in the beginning, but things are starting to tilt towards Intellectuals' side.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's really the mental game, right? When you start to have a chance to close out a team, and you get that 2-0 lead, and you think, okay, one more, and then things just turn. Whether it's a lucky break going one way or the other, doubt starts to creep into your mind, and I wonder if the Blitzers are starting to deal with that a little bit.
Yeah, and they might. For Blitzers, this is a great series for them so far, but it would really feel bad to be reverse swept in a loser's bracket. I know I've been reverse swept a couple times, and it does not feel good, especially on the biggest stage ever. So for Blitzers, if they drop another game, if we have to go for a Game 5, I think a lot of the mental is going towards the Intellectuals. I think that for them, there's a lot of momentum going towards them. Obviously, the reverse sweep is happening, but for Blitzers, I think tilt starts to set in where they go, hey, you know what? We had a 2-0 series lead, and we kind of just gave it away.
Yeah, this man can speak from experience. I cannot. I've never been reverse swept in a best of 5 because I've never been up 2-0 in the first place.
That's okay, man. One day. Or not. I don't know. Do you even play in tournaments?
Very, very, very rarely. So, of course, this play-in weekend has been, full of action both on the European and North American sides. And the Peeps were kind of a fan favorite in yesterday's North American action. They were able to qualify as well, and of course, a lot of people excited to see guys like Pirates and Explosive Gyro make their way into the Rival Series. Great opportunity for a new batch of faces on the North American side.
And just an update on what's going on right now. We have a player with internet problems. He's got about 200 ping stacks, which is not very fun to play with. So he's trying to get that sorted out before we get into this match. Of course, you want to be playing at the top of your game with everything at least normal. 200 ping is definitely not normal. So that's what we're trying to sort out right now, and we hope to have it underway here soon.
And of course, the Peeps squad here, when they qualified against the Dudes, it was a lot of heartbreak as well, because the Dudes, as you remember, they were another fan favorite. A lot of people were excited to see, if Reddles and Ralph and those guys could make it in. Of course, Roldiz as well. Gilly with the great alliteration on the desk earlier. I know Axel Toss and many others really appreciated it. Would have been fantastic to see them make their way back into the Rival Series, especially in the case of Ralph. But it was not to be, as it was, in fact, the Peeps, led by, of course, a lot of efforts like this overtime winner from Pirates to get them in. Of course, they join the Compadres and many others.
Yeah, and you take a look at the qualified teams here for North America. Obviously, the Magicians and Applesauce were the 2 teams from last time. We had 6 spots open here for the North American Rival Series play-ins. Manhattan, another team returning back. Splice, again, another team returning back. Bread and the rest of them there. You can see them, look them up on time. That is what we're looking for coming into the Europe squad here now. We need these teams to qualify, and we are underway.
Yeah, we have had 10 spots up for grabs between North America and Europe this weekend. 8 have been given away, and now we can finally move back along the lower bracket, and it's Stake who jams one through to start game 4.
And Stake, the man to look out for on the Blitzers, able to put this one away. Nachito putting it off the crossbar. Breezy tried to do everything he can to save that one away, and it's the first goal on the board there for Blitzers.
Just 10 seconds in as we resume play, and it's Breezy up against Nachito on the kickoff. So as we will take just a moment here to get players back into the lobby there. We lost Ixo for just a moment, so we'll come back here and just reset everything for you. Again, game 4, again, high pressure situation, of course, for both of these teams. A lot on the line down here in the lower bracket. And of course, you know there's going to be a lot of heartbreak when this series is over, because these teams, they will have come so close, just within a few matches of getting into Season 3 of the Rival Series.
Right, we have to remember that these teams are still a couple matches away from getting to a qualifier spot for the Rival Series. And for a lot of these guys, this is the biggest tournament that they've been in. Obviously, everyone wants to make it into the RLCS, but you got to go through the Rival Series first. You got to go through a grueling play-ins matches that we're seeing here today between North America and Europe. And for this Blitzers squad, they're just one more game away to moving on into this bracket and being that much closer to a qualification match. So for Intellectuals, it's their time to respond back. They have no more lives left. Their back's against the wall, like I've said before, and they got to get back into this series before, otherwise, you know, their hopes and dreams are going to be going down the toilet.
Yeah, and of course, on our end, we want to make sure that we have exactly the right situation for all of these players, make sure everybody's on a level playing field. That's what's so great about now what we're able to do with these matches is, you know, before somebody gets disconnected, you might just say, well, you got to just go. You know, you go play 3v2. At least now we can make sure we get Ixo back into this lobby and continue this matchup 3-on-3.
Who doesn't like Talkit League?
Exactly.
I mean, that's what we're all here for. We're here for rewards and Talkit League. That's the only two things here. We're not here for gameplay. We're not here to see who made it in the Rival Series. We're just here to talk. That's what we get paid for, Stacks, and that's why I showed up here today.
That's why you showed up here today. I showed up to see some good Rocket League, and we have so far today. Of course, this match being the first that has gone past 3 games, and it figures to be a great finish, of course, between the Intellectuals and the Blitzers. What I want to see, though, especially, you know, we mentioned the players to watch at the start of this match. Stake has been outstanding, and he really started to take over in that 4th game as we got started.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the Rival Series teams here today, but let's take a look at the RLCS teams coming up here in the coming weeks. You can see on the board there, on the NA side, Cloud9, G2, Ghost, NRG. You guys have heard all of these teams here on the NA side. And Allegiance and FlyQuest are the guys that came through the Rival Series and qualified. On their side on Europe, Complexity, PSG, of course, everyone knows Dignitas. And, of course, we have Fnatic coming back, able to get back into the RLCS. So I'm excited to see everything how it pans out in RLCS. I would love to see TurboPulse win a 4th championship, me personally at least. I love it.
For the same reason that I love the Rival Series and how things have shaped up here, especially on the European side, I don't want to see Turbo win a 4th World Championship. I want to see new faces. I want to see somebody step up and kind of take that mantle away from TurboPulse. Somebody step up and beat kind of the what has become the evil empire of Dignitas.
Can't beat Turbo. He's too good. And I love seeing...
you can't beat Turbo. He even said himself you could beat Turbo. You could beat Dignitas.
Well, then he's won 3 championships in a row. So, I mean, it's like, well, okay, maybe sometimes. But anyways, yeah, let's see. I'm excited to see how RLCS turns out. Of course, that's coming up next week, the NA RLCS starting then. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But Stacks, you know what I'm more excited for?
What are you more excited for?
I'm excited to see who gets in for Europe on the Rival Series side. Of course, we're still trying to figure out things and get these guys into the lobby. But, yeah, for Europe, it's incredibly competitive. It's something that we really haven't touched on here in the commentator's desk is how competitive Europe is. Of course, NA is competitive as well in the Rival Series kind of sphere. But for Europe, I was looking online and looking at all kind of the European talking heads, and they were just saying, man, this Rival Series plan is so stacked. And we cannot emphasize that enough that we're seeing a number 2 seed taking on a number 22 seed in the first game of the day. So it's exciting to see how that depth of EU is just so deep.
Yeah, but we're going to see the depth of this Intellectuals team because we mentioned Ixo was having connection issues. They're going to sub him out and bring in their sub Magoo now for the Intellectuals. So you talk about facing adversity. You're already down in the lower bracket. You're already forced to reverse sweep a team. Now you've got to do it with your sub. We'll see how Magoo handles the pressure going alongside Z9 and Breezy. We are finally back underway, a fresh start in game number 4.
And let's not forget the series score here. Blitzers 2, up 2, Intellectuals 1. Intellectuals trying to pull off the reverse sweep.
Z9, tough angle to find there. He did get this on target, but it's Stake there for the save. We'll see what kind of role Magoo takes in this attack. Breezy to center here, but Stake will have the clear. Magoo is up there though at midfield. He's not like one of those subs who's kind of going to stay at the back and try to stay out of the way. They're going to need him as part of the offensive pressure. And you can see he's trying to play a more proactive role.
Yeah, and I talked about players to watch for the Intellectuals, and the player I pointed out was Ixo, and now with him gone, Magoo coming in, he's got to fill some big shoes here for Intellectuals.
Stakes, double touch there, is sent away by Breezy. Now Nachito battling alongside Z9. This will find Stake, but it's Magoo there with a good dunk, and that will stop the Blitzers and prevent them from getting that counterattack they were looking for. Z9, that's a cross off the post, and Mark coming in to clear it away. That's really been a problem for the Intellectuals. Very rarely have they sent other players crashing the net, trying to get that rebound opportunity. Had they done so here, they'd be up 1-0. Now to be Breezy. Boy, he's running into some trouble, and he's just about giving the ball away. Nachito, that's cleared by Magoo. Not able to follow it up for a second touch, but he does at least play keep away for a moment. Slows everything down and lets his teammates get back into position. Now Magoo trying to get around Nachito. Not gonna happen, but Z9 to center, no. Another good stop as the Blitzers continue to really defend that corner extremely well, not letting that ball in front.
And again, we're still knotted here at 0-0. Really, both teams kind of trading blows on both sides, but for Intellectuals, you got to think about how Magoo's going to perform here. So far, honestly, not bad. Intellectuals hasn't really changed their play style too much. You got to wonder about consistencies when it comes to a 1v1 situation.
Loose ball in front, but nobody's there. Breezy has all day to clear. Unfortunately for him, he's giving it away to Stake, as that will drop off to the side. Now Mark will try to center again. Good feather pass in front, and it's blocked away by Z9 this time. Breezy coming on from the corner. Nachito won't have a look. Mark did not clear it away. It's off the ceiling, right down to Breezy. And the Intellectuals playing with a sub have the lead.
And man, that's gotta feel so good to get the first goal of the match after all the internet difficulties with Ixo. Magoo comes in, and while he wasn't really part of the play, Intellectuals go up 1-0, and there's gotta be full confidence going forward for the Intellectuals.
And it comes in the second half of Game 4. This must win for the Intellectuals. The English side trying to take down the Spaniards, trying to make a charge along the lower bracket. Z9 gives way to Breezy. Everybody fully boosted for the Intellectuals, plenty to go around. It'll be Magoo to center. Nachito whiffs, but Stake is right there. And maybe even better that Nachito didn't get a touch, as Stake's got a clean path out of the corner. Mark just barely able to get the corner boost and prevent the Intellectuals from initiating a boost starve. Z9, he's given one away, and this is a tie game. It's Stake right between the eyes.
And again, it's another pass coming across for Blitzers here. Not the best clear for Z9. He actually just sets up Stake. It's a free shot on net. Magoo can't react in time, and we're all tied up here with a minute and a half left.
Again, the winner of this match gets the winner between the Bricks and the Unique Stars. That match, 2-1 in favor of the Bricks. Mark to clear one to the back wall, looking for any kind of team play to come out. There's nothing doing. Stake towards Nachito, trying to interfere with Breezy. And Breezy, with great concentration there, able to avoid the contact and get the clear. It at least slows down the Blitzers enough so that the teammates can come in and stop yet another attack like that. 1 minute remains. And overtime looming yet again. We've already seen 2 in this series. Z9 take it out of the play. Nachito's got a double kill. Only 1 left to defend, and Z9 off the respawn keeps this game tied.
And it was Magoo, the last line of defense, coming in. Who knows if he was even playing Rocket League before this. He could have been cold, gets up there, makes the save, and keeps his team in it.
Big clear downfield, and Z9 just in the right place at the right time with a reflex save. And now Breezy just slowing things down. I think they're content to try and go to golden goal here because maybe they sense that the Blitzers were a little too timid in that last game.
Well, like I said in the beginning of this series, Blitzers are very aggressive upfield, and when they make a mistake, you can counter quickly. Intellectuals might be banking on that.
Mark downfield. Z9 will have one more look. Last opportunity of regulation, and we will have overtime yet again.
And I cannot imagine what's going through Magoo's head. The poor guy gets thrown into the biggest match of his life here. A tie game going overtime. They got to win this game.
Mark's follow up there, going just wide. Now watch the counterattack. It's C9 to the backboard.
It's Magoo.
Rebound play for Magoo, who scores the game winner.
Magoo saves the day for Intellectuals. Z9, the pass off the crossbar. It comes down to Magoo. He puts it on target, and they're all tied up in the series. Intellectuals fight back.
Oh, he's going to get a hero's welcome from IXO when this series is over. If they're able to come back and win Game 5, that's what that goal means for Magoo and the Intellectuals. They are one win away from completing the reverse sweep.
I got shivers right now, Stacks. That's gotta feel
awesome.
So good for Magoo. He comes into this game. This series was so tough for Intellectuals. They fought back, and it's Magoo scoring the game-winning goal here to go to game number 5. Intellectuals have full momentum going into this last game.
Joins a long list of characters such as Turbo Pulsa, CS3 for the dudes last season. Players who have been in substitute roles, called on this time right in the heat of battle, trying to pull off the reverse sweep. And Magoo delivers the MVP of game number 4. One shot in that game. It was that game winner.
I'm sorry. My adrenaline is going crazy right now. I
Incredible.
cannot believe that Magoo comes in and plays so well. And for Intellectuals, this feels great now. They have a game 5. They've kind of bounced back from a poor start. They've even had a sub come in, and now Intellectuals, they got to go again now. Game number 5. One more to stay alive in this lower bracket. Of course, this game is not a qualification match. They got to keep going and move on into this bracket.
Yeah, as we can look back at that goal from Magoo. I mean, again, you come in cold off the bench, you get that rebound opportunity served up on a silver platter. We've seen so many bronze finishes in this exact opportunity. Magoo, absolute money when Intellectuals needed him most.
Yeah, and I want to touch on it a little bit more here because, you know, God only knows what Magoo was doing this. He could have just been sitting in Discord talking to the team and cheering them on. He might not have even been playing Rocket League at that point. So for Magoo to come in and perform feels so good for Intellectuals. And regardless of the series for Magoo, this has got to be a highlight of his career. Just getting that goal and at least giving his team a chance in game number 5.
And of course, it goes to show how much you know, because you said, of course, IXO was the player to watch for the Intellectuals. That was a player that maybe the Blitzers were going to have to stop and maybe take out of the game. Well, he was taken out of the game, and the Intellectuals still found a way to win.
And they replace him with a guy who steps up when they need it most. And I'm so proud of Magoo. They got to do it one more time, though.
Yeah, it is really that next man up mentality. Unfortunately, you only get one sub, so Magoo's got to stick this out for the remainder of the series, which is, of course, one game. Game of 5 about to get underway on Champions Field. We saw so many Game 5s yesterday in North America. Now we'll see it here to continue along the lower bracket and have a shot at perhaps facing existence and have a spot on the line for the rival series. It's Nachito and Breezy battling for this ball. Magoo has to make the save, and he does so out of harm's way to the corner. Now Stake, big drive just off the bar. Crossbar making yet another save in this series. And the Blitzers really have to be feeling frustrated at this point. Loose ball in front that's taken by Breezy. And again, nobody really moving in front of the net. Maybe if the Blitzers were a little more active, they would have had an opportunity, but it just seems like they're a little shocked right now.
Intellectual's coming out a little flat right now, very passive on defense, kind of letting things come towards them. And while it's not bad if you can make the save, you definitely don't want to give up easy opportunities to Blitzers.
This is off the post, and oh my goodness, it is not going the way of the Blitzers at all. It went off of both posts, cleared away off the line again. We've seen that at least 3 times now against the Blitzers. It is Mark now for Stake. They need Nachito to get involved in the play, and he cannot as the pass is too strong, and it's cleared away by Z9. Breezy now, here's Magoo, the hero of Game 4. And Nachito, well done there on the back wall. Full tank of boost to work with, and he's made Z9 play around him. That boost still not there just yet for Stake. It will be for Mark. So now Nachito, he'll have Stake in front. He's whipped, and it's going to be cleared off the backboard by Breezy, and Intellectuals dodge another bullet.
Blitzers have definitely had a lot of offensive pressure going into this game, the first 2 minutes especially. Intellectuals, they need to be a little bit more proactive in this game, letting a lot of things come towards them. They're not able to stop Blitzers at midfield. When they come down quick, they have a lot of opportunities.
Around in front, perhaps from Breezy, but he's not quite able to get that there. Z9's attempt will be off the mark. And now here goes Nachito. Good win there along the wall. Got the demo as well. But a demo on the other side will stop the attack. And as we hit halftime, still scoreless in Game 5. Nachito, he'll have a look. Needs a rebound from Mark. And Mark not able to get there first. Z9 throws off the shot, and that's really all the Intellectuals have had to do. Just do barely enough to throw off the shooting attempts from the Blitzers.
A lot of control here for Blitzers in the orange side. Intellectuals, again, not doing a good job of shutting down opportunities, not getting in front of passes right now. And Blitzers are able to do whatever they want, really, on their offensive end. And for Intellectuals, it might just be a matter of time before they break down.
Magoo knocked out of the way by Nachito. He doesn't have any boost, so he can't recover. Breezy without anything in the tank as well, but Z9 has plenty. What can he do with it? Not a whole lot. So he's met up there by Stake. Breezy, quick turnaround. Don't think Stake expected him to be there, so Mark has to clear. And important that Breezy was able to steal some boost. It's now the Blitzers, they'll be looking for that corner boost as they try to defend this attack. Magoo, clever touch. Oh, almost an own goal. Finally another shot, and Que Salvacion, Nachito with the save. Now Magoo, that's gonna be blocked out of the corner. Well, Magoo has been all over the place in the last minute or so for the Intellectuals. Right now the Blitzers, they're just hanging on for dear life, it seems.
Well, at least in that attack for Intellectuals, that was the scariest part of their game so far in game number 5 here. But with a minute left, it's time to crank it up to 11 for Intellectuals, and they're doing just that. The passing play comes out. You gotta be kidding me. Intellectuals up 1-0.
How many times would a sub be tempted to shoot this in this situation? Unselfish play. Finds Z9 with a blistering shot right through the middle, and it's the Intellectuals, undefeated with their sub, looking to complete the reverse sweep.
It's a 1-2-3 pass for Intellectuals, and that is how you take the lead with less than a minute left in a game 5.
Literally a full team effort from the Intellectuals here. If they can stay alive, but they've got 30 seconds to hold on to, 40 seconds rather, as Magoo starts the attack downfield. Z9 to take over, trying to stall this out. Breezy just tucks this in deeper into the blue zone. Mark needs to get a touch on this to clear it away. Instead, it's Nachito. Mark is there. There is Stake as well, but he's just off the mark. The pass just out too far ahead of him. And now only 15 seconds remain. Another shot that's just too high. Final few seconds tick away. And that is the dagger.
It's Magoo again. 2-0 now for Intellectuals, and they're going to be moving on in the bracket. Of course, again, not a qualifier match here for Intellectuals, but they do move on, and what a whirlwind for them. Magoo comes on, he gets a goal in the last game, or in game number 4, and in game number 5, he gets involved again, and he gets his team a victory.
Man, what a comeback from the Intellectuals.